So, I'm fairly late to this review. It's now August, despite this game releasing back in mid-July, and that's because I was playing Persona 4 and, it's quite a long game, so I'm only getting around to Superhot Mind Control Delete now. Superhot is one of the most innovative and fun first-person shooters that I've ever played, so obviously I was anticipating this follow-up. It released back on the 16th of July, and anyone who got a copy of Superhot beforehand got Mind Control Delete for free. Yeah, for free, even though this is a much bigger game, so massive props to the developers for that. 0 out of 10. Once again, we follow this protagonist as they try to uncover the secrets behind Superhot. They uncover nothing, but like many people, I don't really care about the story that much. I'm more here for the gameplay. Just like the predecessor, time only moves when you do. However, the levels here are presented differently. While in Superhot, you're thrown into new areas with the same enemies every time, Mind Control Delete is a bit more unpredictable. You're thrown into what the game calls nodes with a set amount of levels, and they are randomized each and every time. No longer can you learn the layout of the level because you get different maps each time you restart. They play like the endless level from the original game, but you only have to kill a certain amount of enemies to move on to the next level. You might be thinking, well, that's a great way of keeping the game challenging and fresh. Yeah, I thought the same for the first few nodes before seeing the cracks. After a while I started to realize that I was playing the same maps over and over, and the game wasn't switching them up in any sort of way except throwing more and more enemies at me. And near the end of the game, when the nodes could go on for 15 levels, playing the same repetitive maps could get very monotonous. The map design can also make these levels either fairly easy or pretty hard. Some will have narrow areas with plenty of places to cover, while others will be a big open area with nowhere to hide. It's not only the nodes that differentiate Mind Control Delete from Superhot, we also have new enemy types, and I hate all of them. They don't ruin the game, I mean, they add a nice challenge, but fuck me, are they a pain in the ass to deal with. These white people can only get shot in their red spot, which can be near impossible to hit if it's their arm. Now I can see why the entirety of Twitter hates white people. These spiky fiends explode when you kill them, which can damage nearby enemies, but can also damage you. And of course, the three, quite controversial enemies: the dog, the ninja, and the consumer. Christ, the amount of people that I've seen complaining about the dog. He's indestructible, so you just have to avoid him while shooting other enemies. Doesn't sound that hard, right? Well, you'd be right if they didn't constantly charge at you and ruin your run. The other two were also indestructible, but they weren't as much of a pain in the ass as the dog was. My real problem with the enemies though are how they're randomized, which can lead to situations like this. What the fuck am I meant to do here? This leads the game to being hard but not fair. You just have to pray that 4 enemies don't spawn right in front of you. So rather than learning the map design and enemy placement like you did in the first game, you're just hoping that luck is on your side. Oh, and the hacks. Jesus, they are unbalanced. Some are extremely handy to get, like the heal or the random gun hack. Others are completely useless that often go against you, like the grenade hack. So overall, you don't need skill to beat these levels, you just need the game to give you good hacks and maps to win. Also, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? You might think 2.5 hours is bad, but this used to be an 8-hour wait just to play the game again. And you can't close the game or else the timer will reset. You know, I'm trying to figure out how this is good, but I can't think of anything. I am genuinely convinced that this was made so people who bought the game wouldn't be able to refund it. Now, obviously I wasn't going to wait this long, so I found out you had to edit the save with Notepad to bypass this. Now, I'd be okay with messing around in the files if the game encouraged me to do this, but they told me to do absolutely nothing. And also, pray for any PS4 player who can't edit the files and have to wait a whole 2.5 hours to play the game again. Now, let's say I did leave this running for 2.5 hours like the game told me to. What is my reward? You get a few more levels? This has to be a joke, right? Surely the developers will come around and say, hey guys, that was just a little prank, we didn't mean it. Right? Right? So overall, Mind Control Delete is somehow a lot worse than Superhot. Its story makes no sense, the gameplay is now trial and error, the randomized enemies and poor map design can make some levels frustrating, and the hacks are either very handy or very shit. This game gets a 4. It pains me to give a score that low, but it didn't impress me in any way, and it made me hate white people.